Hello, welcome to Eye on Africa here on France 24 with me, Yinko Tare. Here are the top stories. Egypt orders shops, restaurants and shopping malls to shut their doors by 9 p.m. Saturday. The government hoping to cushion the blow of energy prices that have more than doubled because of the war in Iran. Rising jihadist violence in the Sahel is hitting tourism in Benin. The closure of Penjari National Park has led to a sharp drop in visitors, forcing the industry to quickly adapt as security concerns keeps travellers away. Somali women defy Shabaab threats and conservative norms to play football. A new league of female footballers growing from 80 to 600 players in just 2 years, something that would have been unimaginable just years ago in Somalia. Thanks for being with us. We're going to start the program in Egypt, where the ripple effects of the war between the US, Israel and Iran are being felt. Egyptian authorities are now imposing a 9 p.m. curfew for shops, restaurants and shopping malls for a month starting Saturday. The aim is to curb energy bills that have more than doubled because of the Iran war. Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli says the country must work on the worst-case scenario in the face of the conflict. Clémence Waller gives us this breakdown now.
As a result of the war in the Middle East, Cairo finds itself forced to limit its usually bustling nightlife. In a bid to conserve energy, the Egyptian government announced several measures, the most significant of which is the closure of shops, restaurants and shopping centres by 9 p.m. Saturday to Wednesday and 10 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays.
Of course, this decision will affect customers' purchasing power because we're already used to them staying out late, and of course it will affect my staff as some come in for the late shift.
This schedule will be implemented for 1 month, after which the situation will be reassessed based on how the energy crisis develops, which will affect the distribution of work schedules and shifts at the stores.
I work the evening shift and study, so this has affected me financially because I leave university at 5 p.m. and go to work at 9 p.m. Those 4 hours really make a big difference to me.
Closing businesses is expected to help save on electricity and gas consumption, but it will have significant repercussions on the lifestyle of Egyptians who are accustomed to staying out late at restaurants and cafes.
As Egyptians, we love to stay up late, so it's really hard to have shops closed by 9 p.m.
I support the decision because there must be a reason behind it, so I respect the decision made by the government.
Egypt is unique in that we go out at night like this until 2 or 3 a.m. 9 p.m. will be really tough.
Cairo is a city that never sleeps, where restaurants stay open until 2 a.m. to serve customers, a situation that will change once the decision is implemented.
It will definitely have an impact, but we're in an exceptional situation given the state of the country. We have to stay afloat and endure this month, as the Prime Minister said, and then we'll see what happens. Naturally, Egyptians are night owls, so this will affect everyone.
Since the start of the war, Egypt lost nearly 1 billion cubic feet of gas per day, supplies needed for electricity generation, creating a consumption gap that prompted the Egyptian government to find quick solutions to overcome the crisis.
Well, meanwhile, in South Africa, people are bracing for the squeeze of higher fuel costs. The Public Servants Association, one of South Africa's biggest trade unions, is calling for more remote and hybrid work, fearing its members will not be able to afford the daily commute as fuel prices climb. Well, the trade union is warning that many won't cope with the simultaneous increases in transport, fuel and food costs. Global energy prices have surged since the war began last month, and compounding the pressure is South Africa's risk-sensitive rand currency, which has weakened by more than 6% against the dollar. Well, while much of the world is focused on the war in Iran and the fallout, the UN's envoy for Congo is warning the conflict in the east of the country is escalating and expanding. Vivian Van de Pierre says the increasing use of heavy weapons and offensive drones is posing serious risks to civilians. Let's take a listen to what she had to say earlier.
Recent hostilities between the government and the AFC M23 have also been marked by the growing use of offensive drones, as well as by continued jamming and spoofing of GPS signals. Two concerning developments have emerged in this regard. First, the conflict is expanding beyond North and South Kivu into Chopo province, which lies far from the epicenter of the conflict. Second, the use of such capabilities in urban settings raises serious concerns about the risks posed to civilians and civilian infrastructure.
Next, Bobi Wine, the leader of Uganda's opposition party, the National Unity Platform, says he still dreams of returning home to Uganda. The musician turned politician resurfaced in Washington last week after much uncertainty about his whereabouts. Well, Wine says he fled for his life and had been living in hiding since January's disputed election. The Ugandan opposition leader was the guest on our show, Tete a Tete. He told my colleague Mark Perriman he wants the international community to act against the Ugandan government he accuses of repression. Take a listen.
I had assistance from security people that I will not mention from within the regime who are not in agreement with the way our country is being run, most importantly, the way our military is being run. I am aware that I'm being followed. And, in Uganda, history shows that many dissidents have left the country and have been followed and hurt, harmed, or even killed from very far away from home. I am still under threat. However, at least I know that I can communicate in the tentative. I can be able to speak to the world. I intend to go back to my country. My fight is in Uganda. My work is in Uganda. And my citizenship is in Uganda. I'm a Ugandan, and I have to go back to my country. However, I am supposed to be in Uganda as a free citizen, not as a person who must beg for my freedom.
Well, if you want to see Bobi Wine's full interview, you can head to our website. That's france24.com/en. Let's take a brief look now at other news making headlines across the continent. At least 20 people have been killed in southern Tanzania following landslides triggered by heavy rainfall. The deluge, mixed with high winds, forced the ground to give way in the Mbeya region, devouring homes. Authorities are now calling for residents in landslide-prone areas to evacuate, warning more rainfall is expected in the days ahead. The Democratic Republic of Congo and China are stepping up cooperation in the mining sector. A new deal focuses on sharing geological data, protecting investments, and boosting local processing of raw materials inside Congo. The country is already the world's top producer of cobalt and holds huge reserves of copper, lithium, and coltan, all critical for batteries and electric vehicles. At the same time, the United States and other powers are increasing their own push for access to these strategic minerals. It puts Kinshasa at the center of a global competition for some of the world's most in-demand resources. The UN is closing 2 temporary operating bases in the Central African Republic. The bases located in Beres and Dakoa were parts of the UN's MINUSCA peacekeeping operation deployed since 2014. The UN says the closures mark improved security conditions. While peacekeepers have handed over base infrastructure to local defense forces, they will continue supporting security through patrols. Okar has been marred in violence since a coalition of mostly northern and predominantly Muslim rebels known as Seleka seized power in March of 2013 after ousting President Francois Mobiez. We're going to go to Benin now, where the jihadist threat affecting the Sahel is now hitting the tourism economy in the north of the country. The insurgency seems to be keeping people away. In the Atakora region in the country's northwest, the closure of the Penjari National Park has led to a drop in visitor numbers. The tourism industry is now trying to adapt simply to survive. Our team on the ground has this report now.
Under the tarpaulins, traces of another time. Just 4 years ago, tourists set off from here, from Penjari National Park in northwest Benin. Today, Sani Kassim's vehicles no longer move.
I had to sell the vans we use to carry tourists. The insurance costs are just too high.
The insecurity affecting several Sahel countries is now felt here too. Since 2019, northern Benin has faced a growing terrorist threat. And in 2022, the authorities closed one of the country's main tourist attractions, Penjari Reserve, home to one of West Africa's last lion populations. In Natitengu, a town in northwestern Benin near the border with Burkina Faso, Sani Kassim is trying to keep his business alive. A tour guide for more than 20 years, he has gradually shifted into catering and hospitality.
Our expatriate clientele has fallen by more than 80%. We still get a few domestic tourists and some visitors from neighboring countries, but they don't even stay the night anymore.
Before there was life here, Germans, French, there was an atmosphere.
The few remaining customers are mostly people traveling for work. Tour operators have had to redesign their routes. These days, many itineraries stop around Jugu. For tour operators, the town is considered safer than Natitengu, while still offering a practical getaway before continuing into neighboring Togo, particularly towards the Kara region.
We still see some backpackers, but organizing tours has become very difficult. Today, it's hard to bring anyone up as far as Natatingu.
The situation is under control, but given what we know, we can't act as if nothing is happening. Tourists who do come now keep a much lower profile.
In the Taneka villages, known for their history and traditional healers, the impact of the tourism downturn is also visible.
Now I have to go back to farming to feed my family. I'm considering moving down into the valley, to more fertile land.
And yet, at Natitengu market, life goes on. People carry on with their daily routines, despite the absence of the visitors who once supported part of the local economy.
Ending the program in Somalia because football was long banned by the Al-Qaeda-affiliated militants Al-Shabaab. But as the group began losing ground in recent years, the country in 2024 launched its first ever women's football league, allowing girls and women to get back onto the pitch. Noam Bashtika has the story now.
Warming up before kickoff, players were getting ready to take part in an official game of the Somali Women's League. In the packed stands of the Mogadishu Stadium, onlookers reveled in a spectacle that would have been difficult to imagine a few years ago in the conservative country.
I've never seen this before, never. It's something we should be happy about, seeing Somali women play football and people coming to watch.
In 2008, militant group Al-Shabaab banned watching and playing football in all of its territory, declaring the beautiful game un-Islamic. And despite losing control of the capital in 2011, the insurgents retained an important presence throughout the country, regularly carrying out attacks and threatening organizers and athletes. But Al-Shabaab's waning influence progressively allowed football competitions to resume, and in 2024, the Somali Women's League was launched. The amount of registered players has since jumped from 80 to nearly 600, and so far, they've faced no complaints or criticism.
Women playing football is not a shame or a taboo. I play, as you can see. I'm fully covered except for my face and my hands. I haven't heard any bad comments from anyone.
Somalia's male football team places near the bottom of the world FIFA rankings, and the women's team isn't even listed. But players hope that will soon change, with the Ocean Queens set to take part in their first ever international tournament next May.
Well, that's it from all of us on the Eye on Africa team. Thanks so much for your company and stay tuned. Plenty more news to come.